Welcome back and Happy New Year, everybody. I've got a short video today where we're going to talk about the process of flow coating. The easiest way to define flow coating is simply sanding down clear coat and just adding another coat or two of clear. So in this case, I'm going to be doing it over my metal flake because there was a lot of texture left over. Flow coating is often used in multi-tone paint jobs where someone does like either stripes or has different colors on there. So you spray your first color, mask it off, spray your second color, unmask it, then clear coat it. Where you have those masking lines in your base coat, you're going to see texture in your clear coat. Now those can be sanded and polished, but in a higher end paint job, it's very common to sand down the whole thing, flow coat it, or like add another couple coats of clear, and then go from there. All right guys, let's get to it. Start off here, I am wet sanding with some 600 grit. Now these skateboards are going to get sanded down and painted again. If this were a final flow coat, I would probably wet sand with 800 or 1000 grit. And here I'm using a red scotch on any remaining gloss areas because there were a lot of textured areas. Again, if I weren't going to be respraying these, I'd probably use a gray scotch in this case. And you can see here in the spray booth, there is no gloss left on these. Everything is completely dull, which is exactly what you want before you do any more respraying. With our substrate prepped and ready to go, it's time to mix up some more clear coat. So again, we're using that Durafil TurboFill C9500 clear. It is a fast clear, which is perfectly fine for something small like this. If you're doing a larger thing like a car though, you probably want to use a medium or slow hardener. Mixing in our H9501 hardener at a 4:1 ratio there. And we'll just give it a final tack here before we spray as well. It's already been cleaned and wiped down, but we need a final tack before we start to spray. Whipping out the SATA phaser. We're going to spray this at about 30 psi. If I recall correctly, that's what I was spraying at. And I don't show it in the video here, but we ended up doing 3 full coats, leaving adequate flash times in between. And I also do hit the edges as well, which I didn't get on video. And all that will leave us a nice smooth finish. Obviously there's still going to be some texture. It is impossible to leave a perfectly flat texture with clear coat. I don't care what people on the internet say. I've seen enough people say, quote unquote, they spray glass, but there's always some texture there, which can be sanded and polished if necessary. Now in the case of these skateboards, they are going to get sanded and painted. We're going to sand them down, paint some graphics, clear coat them, sand them down, candy, clear coat, sand them down, so on and so forth. There's going to be a lot of product on these when I'm done. Speaking of products though, you don't want more. Like I've seen people online saying, oh, I got 10 coats of clear on my car. That's a really bad thing. The thicker you go with like clear coat and paint, if it's single stage, whatever, the thicker you go, the higher your chances of product failure are. Chipping, cracking, checking, which is like micro cracks that will develop over time, all drastically increase the more product you put on there. The only reason I have so much product on this is because that metal flake was so textured and thick the way I sprayed it out of my one gun. I'm going to try something different for next time. But yeah, I needed 3 coats of clear to bury it the first time. Granted, most of that got sanded off. I was actually burning through to my metal flake, which if I had used a color flake, I would have been in trouble because it would have made it silver. That's why I started with silver and we're going to candy over top of it. And then yeah, another 3 coats of clear on there. Again, a lot of product. However, that's going to get sanded down again. And then we're going to put our graphics over top of that. So in the case of like a normal car though, you don't want more than 2, maybe 3 coats of clear at most. Again, if you do more than that, you're running into issues down the road. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much it. This one was short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them down in the comments. If you guys like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.